So, you've been learning Python, and now you're wondering, okay, how do I turn all these skills into an actual career? Well, you are in exactly the right place. We're about to lay out a clear roadmap that's going to take you from writing your first bits of code all the way to landing that job offer. Let's dive in. You've done it. You've gone through the tutorials, you've got the syntax down, you can write a pretty solid script. But then there's that huge, lingering question, right? Now what? It can feel like this massive leap from just learning Python to actually getting paid to use it. If that sounds familiar, don't worry, we're about to build a bridge over that gap. You know, there's actually a name for this feeling. Let's call it the code to career gap. It's that tricky, kind of frustrating space where you know you have the technical skills, but you haven't quite figured out how to prove you can apply them in a real professional setting. And trust me, closing this gap, it is the single most important thing you'll do in your job search. To get across that gap, it all starts with this one crucial mental shift. See, as a learner, your main goal is to finish a course, right? To get to the end of a tutorial. But as a developer, your goal is to solve a problem. And that's not just a small tweak, it is a complete change in how you see things. Because here's the bottom line. Companies don't hire you just because you know Python. They hire you to solve their problems with Python. Okay, so how in the world do you prove you're a problem solver and not just a tutorial completer? The answer is a strategic portfolio. This is it. This is your bridge across the code to career gap. It's the hard, tangible evidence that you've made that critical mindset shift from learner to developer.
And when I say strategic, I mean something very specific. This is not a random folder where you just dump 50 half-finished projects from tutorials. No way. A strategic portfolio is a small, carefully chosen collection that showcases not just your skills, but your entire thinking process. It's all about quality, not quantity.
To build this killer portfolio, we're going to use a super simple 3-point framework: diversify, document, and deploy. If you can get these 3 things right, I promise you, you will have a portfolio that really stands out from the crowd. Let's break each one down. First up, diversify. You really want to show that your skills are versatile, that you're not a one-trick pony. A fantastic portfolio might have, say, a data analysis script, a web scraping tool, maybe a small automation script, and even a simple API, which is really just a way for different programs to talk to each other. Putting these together shows you can handle data, you can work with the web, and you can build practical tools. It just screams versatility. All right, now for step 2. And what's so interesting about this one is that it has nothing to do with writing more code. It's all about explaining the code you've already written. Seriously, documenting your process with a clear README file or putting helpful comments in your code shows an employer that you can communicate, that you can work on a team. It proves you're not just a coder, you're a professional.
And finally, deploy. This is the ultimate proof. It's one thing to say, hey, this code runs on my laptop. It is a whole other thing to make it accessible to the world. Putting your projects on GitHub, making a simple web app go live, or even just packaging a script so someone can double-click and run it. That shows you can finish what you start. It works, and you can prove it.
Okay, so you've done it. You've used the 3 Ds to build an absolutely incredible portfolio. Now what? How do you take all that powerful work and translate it into a resume that actually gets a hiring manager to call you? I absolutely love this quote because it just nails the relationship between your portfolio and your resume. Think about it. The portfolio is the what. It's the hard evidence of your skills. But the resume is the why. It's where you give that work context and explain the impact it had. And this slide just shows it perfectly. Let's look at the before column. Wrote a Python script for reporting. I mean, it's okay. It's a fact. But now look at the after column. Automated a manual reporting process using a Python script, reducing task time by 80%. See the difference? That's not just a task, that's an impact. You're talking about results, about business value. That is what makes a hiring manager stop scrolling and pay attention. So let's recap. We've talked about the mindset shift, the 3-point portfolio strategy, and how to transform your resume. You literally have the complete toolkit now to bridge that code to career gap. So really, it all just comes down to taking action. And look, I don't want you to feel overwhelmed by all this. The goal is not to build your entire portfolio by tomorrow. The goal is just to start. Pick one thing. Start one great portfolio project this week. One project that solves one little problem. That's it. Just start there.
So I'll just leave you with this one question.
I want you to forget about which framework you should learn next or which tutorial you need to watch. Instead, I want you to ask yourself, what problem will my code solve? Once you find an answer to that, you won't just be a coder anymore. You'll be a developer, and you'll be well on your way to a fantastic new career.